Welcome to the tutorial on HTML iframes. In this video, we will learn about embedding other web pages within your HTML documents. Let's get started. So, what exactly is an iframe? An iframe, short for inline frame, is an HTML element that allows you to embed another HTML document within the current document. Think of it as creating a window within a window. It loads content from a different uniform resource locator, or URL, and maintains its own browsing context, meaning it acts like a separate web page within your page. Iframes are commonly used for embedding videos, maps, and other external content. Now let's look at the basic syntax of an iframe. The core structure involves the iframe tag with a few key attributes. The source attribute, denoted as src, specifies the URL of the document you want to embed. Then there is the width and height attributes define the dimensions of the iframe, typically in pixels. Lastly, it's crucial to include a title attribute for accessibility, providing a description of the embedded content for users with disabilities. Here is an example embedding a YouTube video where the src attribute points to the video URL, width is set to 560 and height to 315, and the title describes it as a YouTube video player. Let's explore some important attributes you can use with iframes. First off is the src attribute, which, as said before, specifies the URL of the document you want to embed. For example, the code iframe src equals https://example.com/iframe embeds the content from example.com. Next are the width and height attributes. These define the dimensions of the iframe in pixels, or as a percentage of the containing element. For instance, iframe width equals 600, height equal 400 /iframe sets the width to 600 pixels and the height to 400 pixels. There is also the Sandbox attribute, which enhances security by enabling extra restrictions on the content within the iframe. The example iframe sandbox equals allow scripts allow same origin, /iframe allows scripts and treats the content as being from the same origin, but restricts other potentially harmful capabilities. The loading attribute determines when the iframe should be loaded. Setting it to lazy, as in iframe loading equals lazy /iframe, tells the browser to only load the iframe when it is near the viewport, improving initial page load times. The title attribute provides a description of the iframe's content for accessibility purposes. An example of this is iframe title equals company map location /iframe. Finally, the frame border attribute, although deprecated in HTML5, specifies whether to display a border around the iframe. The code iframe frame border equals 0 /iframe removes the border. It is generally recommended to control the border using cascading style sheets, or CSS, instead. The Sandbox attribute is a crucial security feature for iframes. It adds extra security restrictions to the content within an iframe. When specified without any value, it applies all available restrictions, effectively isolating the iframe's content. The example code shows how to use the Sandbox attribute with specific values to allow certain capabilities. Without any values, the Sandbox attribute applies all restrictions. To allow specific capabilities like JavaScript execution or form submission, you need to add values to the attribute. Here are some common Sandbox values. The allow scripts value permits JavaScript execution within the iframe. The allow same origin value allows the iframe to be treated as being from the same origin as the parent page. The allow forms value enables form submission from within the iframe. The allow pop-ups value allows the iframe to open pop-up windows. Lastly, the allow top navigation value allows the iframe to navigate the top-level browsing context, meaning it can change the URL of the main window. Let's explore how to style iframes using cascading style sheets, or CSS, to control their appearance and responsiveness. Here's how you can style an iframe using cascading style sheets. First, in your HTML, wrap the iframe within a division element with a class like iframeContainer, and give the iframe itself a class like styledIframe. Next, In your cascading style sheets, target the iframe container class to set the positioning and aspect ratio. Use position, relative, set the width to 100%, use padding bottom, 56.25%, for a 16:9 aspect ratio, and set overflow to hidden. Then target the style iframe class. Here, set position, absolute, set top and left to 0, width and height to 100%, remove the default border with border, add rounded corners with border radius, 12 px, and apply a box shadow for depth. Some styling tips include using a container with padding bottom for responsive aspect ratios, removing default borders with border, none, adding border radius for rounded corners, and applying a box shadow for depth and emphasis. Iframes are versatile and have many practical applications. Let's go over some common use cases for iframes. One common use is embedding videos from platforms like YouTube, Vimeo, or other video hosting services. The code for this typically looks like this: iframe src equals youtube.com/embed/ title equals YouTube video /iframe. Another popular use is embedding interactive maps from services like Google Maps or OpenStreetMap. The sample code is iframe src equals maps.google.com/ title equals location map /iframe. Iframes are also used to embed audio players from services like SoundCloud or Spotify. The code typically looks like this: iframe src equals spotify.com/embed/ title equals Spotify player /iframe. Another use is to embed interactive charts, graphs, or data visualizations from tools like Tableau or Power BI. The sample code is iframe src equals tableau.com/ title equals sales dashboard /iframe. You can also use it to embed forms from services like Google Forms or Typeform. This is what the code looks like: iframe src equals forms.google.com/ title equals contact form /iframe. And finally, iframes are used to embed social media posts, feeds, or widgets from platforms like Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. The code looks like this: iframe src equals twitter.com/widgets/ title equals Twitter feed /iframe. Iframes can introduce security vulnerabilities if not implemented carefully. Understanding these risks is essential for secure web development. Some security risks include clickjacking, where malicious sites can embed your page in an iframe to trick users into clicking elements they didn't intend to. Then there is cross-site scripting, where untrusted content in iframes can execute malicious scripts if not properly sandboxed. Data theft can also occur, where malicious iframes can potentially access cookies or other sensitive information from the parent page. Finally, performance issues occur when multiple iframes can significantly slow down page loading and affect user experience. Some security best practices include using the Sandbox attribute to restrict iframe capabilities, implementing Content Security Policy or CSP to control which domains can be embedded, only embedding trusted sources from reputable domains, using Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure or HTTPS for both the parent page and embedded content, and preventing your site from being framed using the Xframe options header. Here is an example of that code. Let's summarize what we've learned and review some best practices for using iframes. Key takeaways include: iframes allow embedding external content within your hypertext markup language, or HTML, document. The source attribute specifies the uniform resource locator, or URL, of the content to embed. Use width and height attributes to control dimensions. The Sandbox attribute enhances security by restricting capabilities, and cascading style sheets, or CSS, can be used to style iframes and make them responsive. Some best practices include always including a title attribute for accessibility, using the Sandbox attribute with appropriate values, implementing responsive design techniques for different screen sizes, only embedding content from trusted and secure, that is, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure or HTTPS, sources, and considering performance impact when using multiple iframes. Here are some further learning resources. If you like this video, Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.